go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bangers, Bops, and Banter. This is episode 17 of our podcast. Wowie.
Wowie.
So first we're going to talk about some music and movie news. Not very much this week, but some interesting stories. Afterwards, we're going to be discussing and reviewing the album Hawaii Part 2 by Miracle Musical. And finally, we're going to be talking about the new Charlie Kaufman film, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, that just came out on Netflix.
Joe, you have so much to live for. Don't, please.
Don't? What do you mean don't?
Don't end it. Your life is valuable.
Damn.
You're a very good lay.
Oh shit. Thank you.
That is the extent
also,
of your value as a human being.
Yes, it is. Also, we have a guest this week.
Hello!
Whoa, it's Mike.
He's been here before, who cares?
Yeah, I've been here before on the least viewed episodes to date. Let's go. Time for something else that's really niche. That'll get the algorithm going.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Alright.
algorithm pushes some weird things. The Toy Matinee episode is like one of the best viewed episodes.
Wait, which one is?
Exactly.
Yeah, our episode on Toy Matinee's self-titled album, which is like the guy's only made one album, and it was like pushed the most out of any video we've made, and we're just like, why? Why this? It's really weird.
I got nothing.
Very weird.
Alright. So, first in music news. There wasn't much music news this week. There's very little. So I just there were some album announcements that I decided to put here.
Oh baby.
We got a new Autechre album. Brendan, I'm pretty sure you've listened to Autechre, and I've listened to a little bit of them.
Autechre?
Is it Autechre?
Mm-hmm.
It's Autechre, I'm pretty sure.
Autechre.
I
hardly
said
know her.
Fuck, I'm a fake fan.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Autechre. But I don't know.
Okay,
You know,
Autechre,
we're gonna Google this.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never looked it up. Yes, I have listened to their music. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I saw they announced a new album. I'm excited. I think they're pretty cool. They're like this glitch ambient duo. So
Autechre.
it is Autechre. Okay.
Autechre. Yeah, like Autechre, I think.
You're both wrong.
Autechre. Okay.
Whoa. Did you just say that with a hard R, Brendan?
Autechre. I hardly
Joe.
know.
Oh, funny joke.
It is a funny joke. Anyway, the
Yeah.
new album called Sign is coming out October 16th. I don't know. I need to listen
Something
to
to
more.
look out to, I think. I think it'll be interesting.
Of their stuff, so. What?
I think it'll be an interesting album. I mean, like Amber is like a classic in the glitch genre, so
Yeah.
they're a well-respected band within their own sort of field, so that's cool.
Yeah. Next, in music news, Jay Dilla's 10cc sample on Donuts is the subject of a copyright infringement lawsuit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit late, but okay.
Yeah, it seems Donuts, for those who don't know, came out in 2006.
Wait, so I'm sorry, why is that a problem 14
It's-
years later?
Well, he didn't credit the sample 14 years ago. People just are finding out now, and he's getting sued for it. Well, his estate's getting sued for it. Jay Dilla is no longer with us, unfortunately.
God rest his soul.
Um,
God rest his soul.
yeah, I guess he didn't get a license for it, but I don't know. Like, what's the point? Who cares?
I mean, like, if,
I understand it's like you need like licensing for it, but like it's not. I just don't. It's just stupid. It's been 14 years. You're not gonna make money off of this.
Actually, if it's 14 years, they could theoretically have an even better case suing for damages. Like, hey, they owe us 14 years of royalty for this song.
I guess that's
like,
true.
It could be a payday. It'd be a fucking stupid payday, but it could be a payday.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like it's so annoying. Like it's not like you're gonna hear the song and be like, oh, he stole this one song,
sample.
this sample from this one song from like 1974. Like no one's gonna hear it.
No, but again, 14 years of damages. You gotta get that dough, man.
It is an opportunity for money, so.
All right.
It all depends.
Well, next in music news, and actually finally in music news, Homeboy Sandman and Quelly Chris have announced a new album called Trauma. Or no, they shared a new song called Trauma. The album is called Don't Feed the Monster. It's coming out in October.
Very exciting. Quelly Chris, fantastic artist.
Yes. Hold up, that can't be the end of your news, because at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Gorillaz is releasing a new single called Strange Times, spelled with a Z, featuring Robert Smith of The Cure, and, hello, I'm Mike the Gorillaz simp, how are you?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, I don't know if it's like the announcement of a song, so I wasn't like, I wasn't going to like, put it in.
But it's been almost 6 weeks since their last single, Joe.
Damn.
That's 6 whole weeks. I know!
Man.
This is that banter that's in the title, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the thing that we're really good at it.
Citation needed. Movie news!
Movie news time. The Batman movie has halted production because, unfortunately, our boy, Robert Pattinson, has gotten corona. That's positive.
No!
You hate to see it.
Boy.
You hate to see it.
I'm pretty disappointed. Or, well, I guess I'm like, you know.
I'm disappointed because the trailer looked really cool, but also, it kind of speaks to a larger point how the big six, like, studios are all freaking the fuck out right now because film sets are so large and chaotic that there's no way you can keep them sanitary in the apocalypse TM.
Yeah.
So, like, they are all like, oh god, how are we going to make ends meet? We only have several hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. We might starve!
It's pretty unfortunate.
Like, what about the Warner Brothers and their Warner sister Dot? What are they going to eat now in the water tower? In the Warner movie lot?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Probably just a lot of food.
You got a point there.
You just made me realize that the Warner's Brother logo is actually the film. It's like their studio lot. I totally just thought it was some random collection of buildings. For all these years.
Dude, yeah, no, it's on the fucking water tower at the actual Warner lot. They made a documentary about that in the 90s called Animaniacs.
Okay. Yeah. I've never been to the Warner lot, so I don't think I would know that.
And you clearly didn't watch Animaniacs, Brendan.
I also did not watch Animaniacs.
Damn.
I should just leave this podcast right now.
I'm a good addition. You bring some expertise that Joe and I apparently don't have. Like being a Gorillaz simp.
Damn.
That's me. Me. I am the simp. The squirrels are in my pants now.
Yes. Alright. Next in movie news, this one's gonna be a real disappointment. The Rock has gotten coronavirus. Oh no.
Is your movie news just actors getting coronavirus?
2.
They're the only 2 people in the world who got coronavirus. Okay.
This is true. This is true. It's
well, actually,
fake news
The
media.
Rock and also his family. So it's actually pretty, like, that's kind of shitty.
Feel bad for his family. I'm sure The Rock can handle it though. Like, look at him.
The Rock, look at him. He's fucking jacked.
Well, I mean, that could even prove a problem because, like, it's a circulatory disease, and he's got like a lot of circulating to do with those massive pecs.
Yeah. He's also like very.
To a person be like, "Hey, you look like you got a lot of circulating to do."
Oh, baby, do I!
He's also like very healthy, so he'll most likely be fine. But yeah, I do hope he family and he, you know, they pull through.
What?
Because I need another Hobbs.
What movies, plural, was he working on? Because he's always working on several.
I don't even know right now. Like, I don't even know what movies are being worked on currently.
I mean, he is the producer and lead of the Black Adam movie that Warner is inexplicably making, but I'm not sure if that's in production yet.
No. So they mentioned it at DC Fandom. They just said it was happening. I don't think they said it was in production.
I mean, we knew it was happening for years before. We knew Black Adam was happening before Shazam for some goddamn reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I didn't watch Fandom. I just, like, read about what happened at it, so I don't know any specifics.
But it's like, of all the supervillains you can make a standalone movie about, Black fucking Adam is at, like, the bottom of the list.
I don't know.
I say this as someone who really likes Shazam. Shazam's like one of my favorite DC characters.
Well, Black Adam's like a very versatile character because you can kind of just do whatever with him. Because he can be like an anti-hero as well and stuff like that.
I guess?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
It's that, like, part of it, he doesn't have, like, the strong personality to carry a movie like that.
But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does.
Oh, yeah. And so does Will Smith, and then the original Suicide Squad film happened.
Dude,
great.
Are you kidding?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you kidding? Mike, have you seen Hobbs and Shaw? Because clearly, The Rock can carry a movie.
Dude, the one movie where he's the action hero and he has got to save people. Oh, The Rock is so good in that one.
I can't wait for Hobbs and Shaw 2, directed by Robert Eggers. That'll be good.
God have mercy.
I really hope. I wish that was. I would love if Robert Eggers directed Hobbs and Shaw.
That would make for a very weird action movie.
Yes. All right. Next in movie news, there's a new version of Godfather Part 3 coming out.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola says there's a new version coming out. I don't actually think there's any added footage. I think it's just they're remastering a lot of footage. Or no, never mind. He created a new beginning and ending, and rearranged some of the scenes, shots, and music cues.
Huh.
So
he's done this before.
Yeah?
Okay.
He did it with Apocalypse Now twice.
Yeah!
So, yeah.
Neither of which are really worth watching, especially not compared to the original.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the best movies ever made, don't at me.
Yeah.
I don't even have a Twitter, I don't think people can.
Damn.
At the Bop Stop.
Oh, yes.
Bitch at Wesley,
yes,
he's very
we
funny.
have a Twitter.
Wesley will be very confused, and that would be fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I haven't seen The Godfather Part 3 because I don't. Everything I've heard about it is like, just don't watch it.
It's not bad, but it's also the sequel to two of the most critically acclaimed films of all time, and for very good reason.
Yeah, and it's also was filmed like what was it?
It came out in the 90s.
Yeah, it came out like 15 years after the first two. So, which is like, it's at a point when Prince Ford Coppola was not at his height anymore.
Oh.
So,
no, he might have been high, though.
That's possible. But yeah. Hey, yo, this is like a random thought I had like a while ago when I was watching E.T. I think E.T. would be really great if it was a stoner comedy.
It almost is, in a way.
I wish it was.
It's like a bit too wholesome, but...
There's that point when he's at home and he's like getting drunk, and it's like that. I need like an entire movie of that, of E.T. just fucking with someone's house.
Okay, first off, yes. Second, I mean, Brendan, Bill and Ted is a stoner series, and like apparently Bill and Ted 3 is wholesome as all hell. Is hell wholesome?
That's like all of the Bill and Ted movies, though.
No, but like,
well, I mean,
3 especially, from what I've heard. I still need to see it, but
I wouldn't say. I mean, the first two, I wouldn't really call it like wholesome in the same way that like, you
wholesome
know,
100. I'm sorry for doing
exactly.
that.
No,
you should be.
They're just kind of like, they're lighthearted, is what I would call the first two.
You like that fluorescent light above my head? Is there video for this on YouTube?
No.
So just audio. No. So I just wasted his time. That's cool.
Nice.
In that case, they probably also won't be able to see me eating McDonald's.
Nice.
I hear you.
Alright. I guess next.
This is a quarter pounder with cheese?
El Royale with cheese.
Whoa.
Yo, is that the Travis Scott burger?
I hope not.
Damn. Alright. Next movie news. Disney's Mulan has been getting backlash. It already had been getting backlash.
I was gonna say, what for this time?
So, I mean, it still is getting backlash for the lead actress's support of the Hong Kong police.
And also the fact that they're charging $30 fucking on top of your subscription.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. $30 is, like, a bit much. Like, $20, which is what most studios have been doing, I think is, like, acceptable.
But that's $20 on top of your $9.99 subscription.
Yeah. Or, well... with Disney Plus, it's $30, but most studios are putting stuff on like Amazon for $20.
Yeah, with no subscription. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Disney's doing this in a year where they're set to lose $100 fucking million.
Yeah, it's just a lot. But also, lead actress supports Hong Kong police, big bad. And also,
all cops are bastards.
Disney apparently filmed several scenes, and forgive my horrible butchering of the name, Xinjiang? Xinjiang?
Yeah.
Xinjiang. Did I get it?
That's close enough.
Alright. Where the Chinese government has been, heavily oppressing Muslim groups.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is specifically that, like, not only did they, like, say something like, other movies will do, like, thank you to the good people of Georgia for letting us film in Georgia. They're like, thank you to the Communist Party leadership of this place that you are murdering people in concentration camps. You fellas are great.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
feel like just like making movies like in collaboration with China is just a bad look in general. I mean, it's already like a lot of major studio movies already have a bad look because they censor shit for the Chinese market.
Yeah, but even in that regard, Disney's unusually bad. Like,
they
caught backlash during the run-up to Doctor Strange because in the comics, the Ancient One is a, I think, Taiwanese man, right?
Yeah.
And here and Disney's just like, uh-oh. We can't acknowledge Taiwan's existence. China will be angry, and we won't be able to make that sweet, sweet China money. The Ancient One's a Scottish woman now. Let's go!
Tilda Swinton.
It's Tilda Swinton though, so I'm okay.
Tilda Swinton's good in that movie, but
she's really
yeah, no,
good.
she is. But the reason why they cast Tilda Swinton is concerning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess finally movie news. This isn't like a big thing, but David Fincher's new film, Mank, has finally we've gotten some images from it. It's starring Gary Oldman, and the film's about what's his full name? Or wait, is it Mank? Wait, what?
Gary Oldman.
Oh no, I'm sorry, they misspelled the title at one point. It's about the Citizen Kane co-writer,
yes,
Herman Mankiewicz or Wicks. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Close enough.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. It's coming out this year, I'm pretty sure. So,
Should be
and
cool.
it's all in black and white.
Wait, hold on.
Just like Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
So, forgive me if you guys brought this up last week, but Chadwick Boseman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, you did bring him up last week?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. God rest his soul.
It's very unfortunate,
rest in
but yeah.
peace.
I thought that happened before last Monday. I guess I'm an idiot.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the news. For the news.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, news.
So, let's transition into talking about this cool little album by Miracle Musical, Hawaii Part 2. Mike, do you want to introduce it, since this was
Yeah.
quick?
Hello. So Hawaii Part 2, released in 2012 as the first sort of solo project of a man whose name I forgot. Hold on, Joe Hawley of Tally Hall fame. Shortly after their hiatus, which never ended. This long hiatus
Hasn't yet.
No, I think they officially announced that. Yeah, no, we're broken up, fellas.
Up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it has some collaborations from other members of Tally Hall, like Rob Cantor is on 2 of the tracks. But overall, this is the Joe Hawley Power Hour, Power 45 minutes, and it is a just strange beast of an album that I kind of low-key love.
Tell us why you love it, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! Damn it, I'm on the spot. I was gonna riff off of you guys. Okay. So, Miracle
we're
Musical
doing the
is-
opposite.
Ah, damn it, because I picked the album. I did this to myself. So, Miracle Musical is a very hard album to pin down genre-wise, because in some aspects, it, like, swaps genres constantly, a la A Plastic Beach. That's another one, my Gorilla's Counter Joe, isn't it?
Ooh, that's 2, at least.
That's 2 today. Damn it. And in part because some of the genres it borrows from have not been relevant in a very long time. Like, a bunch of tracks on this album are like a weird space-age digital cabaret sound. Especially the first and final tracks, which mirror each other quite beautifully. And in general, the instrumentation is, again, really cool and really bizarre. A lot of the tracks are the cabaret singer voice slightly vocoded, and then you have my favorite bit of instrumentation on the entire goddamn album, the track Labyrinth, is mostly a rap for the vocals, but then the backing track is a original Game Boy music synthesizer played like a harpsichord. And it's just very, very satisfying to listen to. Or you have the, again, really, really bizarre, The Mind Electric, which the first half of the song is the second half of the song played in reverse. Like, halfway through, it goes the right way around.
Yeah.
But it's a cool fucking album, dude. It's a weird one.
Definitely. I do really admire the way it plays with genres in a way that like you said, there's no way to really pin it down. You can, like, if you take a single song, you can say, like, oh, it's like a combination of this and this, but, like, it never sticks to that throughout the album. It feels like it's constantly evolving, which I think is really cool. Mind Electric is probably my favorite track. The song playing backwards at first is, like, really cool and fantastic.
And it throws you off, too, because they're, like, when it's played forwards again, you realize, oh, hey, some instruments in some parts of the song were played backwards initially, so they sound correct the first time through.
Yeah. Brendan, you got...
What?
You say
Brendan?
You haven't said anything so far.
Oh, I mean, he has been talking. I know, yeah. I think generally, I'm gonna put a name to this. I would generally call it indie pop, although it's, you know, it's very all over the place. You could certainly call it experimental at points, especially with tracks like the Mind Electric and the fact that he's using synthesizers and the vocal effects a lot of the time, and also like rapping on Labyrinth and stuff like that. Definitely, it is certainly an interesting listen, especially if you're into sort of this cluster of bands like Tally Hall and like Jack Stauber and like stuff like that. I think it can definitely like suit some people's fancies.
And I will be completely honest, I fuck with some Jack Stauber, dude.
Yeah.
There's definitely... Oh, no, you go.
I was about to say something, then you were going to say something, then I'm like, oh, Joe's going to talk. I can take a bite of a French fry. Damn it!
No.
I did this to myself. Oh. How dare you put me on the spot. Other kind of just very, very interesting element of the album is how certain parts of certain tracks reappear throughout the album as if it's a actual miracle musical doing reprises and stuff. Wow, oh my god. Culminating in the final track, Dream Suite in C major, spelled like C the ocean because, uh-oh, they're a clever boy, which starts off as just a full-on reprise of Introduction to the Snow and then transforms into basically like every other track on the album at some point or another. And it was also just a little strange for me on my first listen, because I discovered this album through Dream Suite in C major. And so, like, listening to it for the first time, like, I think a year and a half ago now, was just really surreal. Yeah, I don't have much intelligent to say right now. Although that's not new.
No. I do think that Dream Suite in C major, probably one of the best tracks off this album, in my opinion. The way it incorporates the elements and ideas presented throughout the album, and really a smart way, I think, does make for a very engaging song and a very solid ending to the album. Starting off the album, I mean, you have the introduction track, which is it's a solid introduction as far as introduction goes, I guess, but also Isle Unto Thyself.
Yeah,
is a really nice opener. The album starts small in a way and then grows bigger and expands, which I definitely enjoy.
And it also just, again, gets stranger as it goes on. Hell, even looking at the album art, I think, tells you a lot about what you are going to get into when you listen to Hawaii Part 2, which I think we should mention. There is no album called Hawaii Part 1. This is a sequel to the island state of Hawaii. Oh. Because it needed one, clearly. But, like, just looking at the cover, it's... You see, okay, palm trees, rainbow, grayscale, that's whatever, and, like, you have all these geometric shapes and the inexplicable Japanese text in, like, amazing Technicolor below it. Until the one track on the album that is, again, entirely in Japanese for no discernible reason.
Isn't there like a giant monster in the background too?
Yes, there is. It might be distantly related to Godzilla. I never asked. It's kind of rude to assume all kaiju know each other.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I guess for me, like, it's very creative, and I would, like, highly recommend this to people, but it's also not for me.
That's valid.
Like, there's kind of, like, a pristine feeling to a lot of the tracks that I don't like. That, like, it feels, like, a bit overproduced to me. And that stuff is kind of, like, sounds don't have any, like, roughness to them a lot of the time. And there's certain genres that they introduced that I don't really like. Like, I'd say the first real track, not the intro, but Isle Unto Thyself. There's kind of like a 60s pop feel to it, almost.
Yeah.
And I don't like 60s pop. Personally, I just find it very, like, boring. And I think that might be more from this of like a vocal effect that's used to make the vocals kind of sound like they're through an old microphone. That I don't really like.
Yeah, the vocals here are, like, sometimes put through a vocoder, sometimes not, but either way, or put through another filter to make it sound like it's coming from an old record player. But only the vocals, which is, again, weird.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just don't find that I don't really enjoy that. I guess it just reminds me of a genre that I don't really like. I think that's like I guess this is my main problem, is sometimes the genres that they bend, while interesting, are not ones that I particularly enjoy.
It's a lot of dead genres.
Yeah. And I guess there's also, again, the pristine sound that a lot of the tracks have that's just not my thing. Like, it feels very sugary on a lot of the tracks, is how I describe it. If that makes sense. There's like I'd say it's more on the beginning tracks.
Yeah.
But then, and there's certainly tracks that don't have that. Like, I don't think the Mind Electric has that feel to it.
No. And then you have the track, what is it? Black Rainbows, which...
Yeah.
Matty Diaz's vocals as the feature do feel very, very clean, and then you have Holly doing, like, the almost chanting under it. That feels a lot rougher, almost digital.
I'm pretty sure they're Hawaiian vocals, or they're in Hawaiian.
I believe so, yeah.
And that part of the song I really like. I think those work really well on that track.
As well as the what is it? Okay, what do you call it when you just overlay vocals to do harmony with yourself?
I don't think there's any, like, special word for it.
There was, and I don't remember, but again, some of Diaz's harmonies on that are just really unstable. You know, they sound really cool, but there's a tension to them.
Yeah.
Joe, for what you were saying, when you're talking about this pristine feel, I definitely agree. For me, it's not so much these are genres I don't like, because, I don't know, I can find joy in just about any genre. But for me, a lot of time, it's the fact that they're blending these genres, and I don't think that they blend well together. On tracks like White Ball or Murders, I don't find those tracks to be very interesting at all. I don't think the way that they the sound that they're presenting there is really engaging.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I really like White Ball. That's one of my favorite tracks, I'd say. Because I like when they get more orchestral with their sound. It adds like a needed like beauty to it, I guess. I will say this album is very musical-like, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like it's some sort of miracle musical or something.
Yeah. So when they get these more orchestral tracks, it feels like more natural, I guess, to me.
Yeah,
I get that.
I think it adds like some needed elements to this track. I really enjoy it. Same with
Murders?
No, not Murders. What is it? There's another track that has, I think it's Stranded Lullaby, has like violin on it. And
yeah.
And I think that track also is really great.
I also am not a huge fan of Stranded Lullaby.
Really?
I don't know. For me, when I think like cabaret music, I really think about like the piano and having that pronounced like piano beat, which is usually what I think of like with musicals. And so the more orchestral aspects of this album don't add to the flavor in the way that I think they would for some other people.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think for me, they give the album a really interesting, like, for lack of a better term, emotional through line. Because listening to or looking at the lyrics from song to song are almost complete non sequiturs.
Yeah.
And yet, at the end of it, you still feel like you've gone through like some sort of journey in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that tracks like Murders, for example, which with its just very, very abrasive instrumentals, kind of are a great contrast and give the whole album a nice shape.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm also going back to Brendan's point, how you say the orchestral stuff doesn't really remind you of cabaret kind of music or like a musical. I guess I'm the opposite. Not that the orchestral stuff reminds me of a musical, but I don't like musicals. So when it's not being, I guess when it feels less like a musical and more like an album, I like that a lot more.
It feels something in between the two, which is strange.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just really don't like musicals in general. They've like, whenever I watch a musical, I'm like, there's like, here's the emotion time.
But Joe,
like they try to make you feel they're melodramatic a lot of the time.
But what about Alexander Hamilton?
Alexander Hamilton. Oh man, I haven't.
If you got a problem, he can Alexander handle it.
Damn.
Bruh.
Why isn't that line Hamilton? Why isn't Hamilton just the Jax films making up rhymes about Alexander Hamilton?
Well, you said you haven't seen it, right?
Yeah, because I don't.
It totally is. That's totally the entire play.
Yeah.
Joe, you want to watch Hamilton next week?
No.
On Disney Plus?
Yes. We have Disney Plus. Yeah.
Please don't give Disney your money. They have too much already. Just buy local farm-grown organic movies at your local farmer's market. It's better for you. It's better for the environment. It's better for the. Just do it. It's fine.
Yeah,
do it.
Just watch
Disney
Netflix.
has the Pixar movies.
Yeah, they do though.
Yeah, but they don't have the Ghibli movies anymore.
That's true.
Nope, those are on HBO.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they are.
Or go like get Criterion Channel, watch a bunch of classics. You know.
Or just own all the Ghibli movies like me.
You know,
So guys, what'd you think of Miracle Musical? Or Hawaii Part 2? Fuck!
They're the same. I mean, this is the only Hawaii Part 2 is the only Miracle Musical album, so
Yeah, it is. It's
they're one and the same.
yeah. Concerning what's his name? Joe Hawley has a few other solo projects, and this is the only one not released under his name, even though it's totally a solo project.
I want to go back. You mentioned before the sense of adventure I really like that. There's this track here, Time Machine, which I think really encapsulates that. I like the sort of kinetic energy that this track has. Time Machine, also like the vocal effects on this track I think are really cool. Another one of my personal favorite tracks, I think.
Fun fact, that track, I looked this up earlier today, was co-written by Rob Cantor of Tally Hall, and more importantly, actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf fame.
Yes.
Oh, huh. Cool. Wow.
The more you know.
Wow. I guess I'm trying to think of how to transition. For me, my least favorite track on the album is probably Labyrinth.
Really?
Yeah. I like the chorus, but the rest of it sounds like a 2010 Mario YouTube rap.
I also don't like Labyrinth.
Oh, I actually really enjoy Labyrinth. It's one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Okay.
Oh.
It just has like a sound to me that I'm like not a fan of. Like, I don't know.
Again, I think a large part of why Labyrinth vibes with me so hard is because I really, really like the instrumental to it.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it's a good instrumental on its own, but the fact that just the idea itself of using a Game Boy Color or, like, original synthesizer as a harpsichord is, at the very least, fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think the, oh god, who did the rap on this one? Shane Mao. I think that he lends like a nice momentum to the track. You know, it feels like it's always like rolling forward, like down a hill almost.
I think he sounds just really out of place, personally.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Brendan. It's just like
I agree, and I think that's the point.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it sounds good.
I vibe with it, man.
Okay.
Listen,
I don't know. It gives me like a similar vibe to something like Super Fast Jellyfish, but Super Fast Jellyfish to me, I guess, doesn't remind me of 2010 Mario internet raps. But also, I really like. I forget who's featured on that track. Who?
Gruffness and De La Soul, right?
De La Soul
yeah.
On Superfast, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the rapping on that, and here, I don't know, on Labyrinth it just kind of feels a bit awkward to me.
That's fair. Although, speaking of 2010s era Mario raps and shit, do you guys remember, this is very relevant, I promise, do you guys remember that old Mario parody of Smash Mouth's All-Star?
It's a Mario parody of All-Star?
Yeah. It's like, some Goomba once told me King Koopa's gonna own me.
Oh, maybe I do. Oh.
I don't. I definitely don't. And I am happy for myself.
I'll send it to you guys after we're done recording.
Oh no.
But I'd say my favorite track on the album, I go back and forth. I'm probably going to say Dream Suite in C major. Well, paradoxically, I think what's my least favorite and more the song I find the most forgettable is Introduction to the Snow, which is most of Dream Suite in C major, but like more low key.
Yeah.
I don't have anything smart to say about that.
No, you made a good point. Good job.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Do you mean that?
Son. Of course, son. I mean every word that comes out of my mouth, every single moment of every day, son.
That's, oh man.
Joe, I think he's lying to me. Anyway, fellas, what would you give this album out of 10?
I guess in conclusion for me, I think it's really impressive how just creative and weird this album is, and I appreciate it for that, just like blending so many different genres together, and I think it works some of the time. I think it's I only would recommend this to people if they want something if they're into like indie music, I guess in general. I didn't vibe with a lot of the tracks personally, but it's interesting. This is like a 6 out of 10 for me. There's just like a lot of things on here that I don't really like in terms of genre and also in terms of just like production. But yeah, I still think it's super interesting.
To the surprise of no one, I vibe with this album very hard. And you know what, Joe? My dad really liked it too, so there.
Damn. I'm decimated.
Get dunked on. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Danny boy?
I'm a bit more with Joe on this one. I think there are some very interesting ideas here. I don't think they pan out most of the time. But it's a neat project, definitely. I'm also at a 6 out of 10. There's some really good songs here, but for the most part, not that into it.
You can be wrong.
Yeah, I can, and I'll be happy with myself.
Moving on from strange album to really strange movie.
Probably stranger movie, if I'm being honest.
Oh my god.
So, the movie this week was I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Charlie Kaufman. This is an adaptation of the book of the same name. And it's...
Oh, that's not true. The book, so the movie is the title stylized with no capitalization, but the book has proper capitalization.
Oh, so Charlie Kaufman just doesn't know how to write English, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Clearly.
It's like this is his first screenplay or something.
Idiot.
Clearly. I guess for those who don't know him, Charlie Kaufman is the writer behind movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Adaptation, which is one of my personal favorite movies ever.
And is kind of about him?
Yes, sort of, like, a little bit, but it's also, like, fictionalized, but it's, like, so interesting.
And it's starring Nick Cage in both leading roles.
Yes, it's amazing. I know, Brendan, I absolutely love Eternal Sunshine. I know Brendan loves it more.
I also love Eternal Sunshine, yeah.
I vibe with that movie.
Let's see. He wrote Being John Malkovich, very interesting movie. And then he's basically he stopped working with Spike Jonze and Michael Gondry, and he started directing on his own. He directed Synecdoche, New York, which I need to watch, and I really should watch that.
Oh, my dad's from Schenectady, New York.
Whoa.
Wow. Also, he said Miracle Musical Hawaii Part 2 is a very good album, so shut up.
Damn. Just got destroyed.
With facts and logic.
Yes. Then afterwards he directed Anomalisa, the animated movie from 2017. Have not seen it. I've heard a lot of good things.
Oh, that was Kaufman? That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And now he's back this year with I'm Thinking of Ending Things. This is his third directed movie. It's his third movie he's directed.
And just like 20,000th he's written.
Well, I mean, he hasn't actually written that many movies.
No, but they were all hits.
Yeah. Or, well, not hits, but really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, critically acclaimed.
Critical hits.
Yeah. This is...
horror, romance?
I wouldn't consider it horror. I'd consider it... I'd say psychological thriller. There's elements of horror. I don't think it's a horror movie.
I don't think it's a horror movie, but the way a lot of like shots are done is very much in the way a horror movie would do it.
Let's just call it an introspective mind screw.
Yes. This reminds me a lot of like a David Lynch movie, but like
Being John Malkovich?
I don't think there's a... I mean, like, Being John Malkovich is not nearly as much of a mindfuck as this movie is.
No, it's Being John Malkovich on acid.
Kind of, yeah, in a way.
John Malkovich was on acid?
It's...
Yes.
Yeah. I guess I'll give a description of the plot, which is a bit hard to describe. Basically, simply put, it's about this girl who I forget her name. The actress is Jessie Buckley.
The movie doesn't name her.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or rather, it does name her several times, and it's never the same twice.
Yes.
I feel like, can we just agree to call her Lucy, because that's the first name that the movie calls her?
The subtitles just call her young woman.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say we can call her Lucy or just say Jessie Buckley, the actress. Okay. Basically, she goes with her boyfriend, who she's having second thoughts about their relationship.
She's thinking of ending things.
Yes, she's thinking of ending it. And she goes with him to meet his parents. And the movie ensues from there. It's interesting because, like, I guess I looked up what the book was, but I don't know if the book's plot accurately matches. Like, I don't know if the interpretation you can take from the book's plot accurately matches this movie's.
It diverges in the final act.
It does
fairly
that,
significantly.
Yes, and also in the way things are presented, or not.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I think this is Charlie Kaufman taking a book that's like nearly impossible to adapt and adapting it into a film.
Dude, that sounds like a great idea for a meta film about screenwriting.
Yo, it does.
Dude, he should write that and then get someone to cast Nick Cage as himself and also his brother who doesn't really exist.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my god. Adaptation is amazing. I love adaptation so much.
Adaptation is so good.
I don't know. This movie's so hard to talk about.
So, okay. I'm just gonna throw some shit out there, I guess, because we probably all there are 3 people in this call, and we probably all have 3 very different interpretations of this movie and specific lines. So I'm just gonna try and test the water, see where you guys are at. The janitor is Jake. Yes.
Yes.
Or no?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, yes, we're all on the same page there. That's good. I like that. Where do we go from here?
Okay. Fuck.
Well, you know what? You know where we should start? This movie is really fucking hard to watch on purpose.
Yes.
It is slow. It is awkward. One of the main characters that you are seeing throughout the entire film is insanely unlikable and definitely has some sort of underlying condition.
He has, he's very controlling.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. It's very, I don't know.
Yeah, the way the movie, this is why I also call it a horror movie, because the way the movie sort of frames that, I feel, the controllingness, is that he is, a murderer, and, the way a horror movie would do it.
And he's unstable, because one moment they are laughing and getting along, and it's almost cute in how awkward it is, and then the next he is on a hair trigger or dead quiet or cannot figure out for the life of him how to start a fucking conversation like a human being.
Yes.
Yeah. He looks like he's about ready to strangle his parents when they're just being dorky parents.
Yeah.
They're embarrassing him in front of his girlfriend.
Oh no.
Dude. Oh no.
Yeah, no, honestly, the whole dinner scene, I love the dinner scene.
The dinner scene's
so
amazing. Probably, maybe my favorite scene in the movie, or just the house.
It's my favorite scene.
The house in general, I love how just weird it is, because I guess until the end, you're still trying to piece together what's going on the entire time. And also, certain aspects of it, like how the main character doesn't really acknowledge that things are changing. She just kind of goes with it.
Well, she sort of, at one point she reflects and says, okay, so how most time is sort of changing around me. How most people view time is time is a line and we're just walking along the line.
Yeah.
What if I'm standing still and the line is going through me? Which actually, that actually is how like some cultures view the passage of time. I believe particularly like Asian and Oceanic cultures.
Yeah. There's definitely also, like, afterwards, she's like, what, I don't know what happened. Like, she's just, like, confused as fuck.
And she can't really remember what happened and what didn't happen.
I mean, she can't remember a lot about herself in general.
Like, it's almost, you could definitely argue that the main character doesn't exist, really.
Yeah.
And her profession keeps changing.
She keeps changing.
Well, not only does she keep changing it, but Jake also references several of her professions as well.
Yeah, no.
She is a quantum physicist. She is a poet. She is a landscape painter. She is into elder.
Oh, that's okay.
She's a university student who needs to get a paper done. But actually, she's a waitress, like in the movie that the janitor is watching during the dinner sequence.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this makes makes sense because I know what the book plot is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just like, what the fuck was?
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Same.
So Brendan, do you know?
I haven't read anything about the book.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to like keep?
You can.
Okay. Basically, in the book, what's happening is the entire thing is it's the janitor like thinking about what would happen if he had like taken this girl like to meet his parents essentially. Like if he had gotten into a relationship with this girl who he just knew in college and like reflecting on that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why certain things change a ton, and also to me makes perfect sense why she becomes a painter at one point, because he clearly has
he likes painting. Yeah
he likes painting, but also is like very self-conscious of it.
Well, there's also the fact that her paintings and poetry aren't hers. She discovers a poetry book in his childhood room with the fucking morbid poem that she thought that she wrote. When she's going downstairs to grab laundry, she thinks that... I mean, she sees the paintings that she thought that she painted. She sees a picture of him as a child, and is like, what? I thought that was me. And I think a way to interpret that, if you want to stick to the idea that the heroine is real, is that she doesn't actually have an identity of her own. Like, she opens the movie with a monologue about how you can fake actions, you can fake words, but you can't fake thoughts. And yet every single thing that she says or thinks is either unoriginal or sometimes contradicted by herself in a different part of the movie. Like, in the car ride there, she's talking about how she loves books and hates movies and thinks they're a fucking plague. And then the moment they get to their house, she's like, this is kind of like a horror movie.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
And also, she becomes a film critic on the ride back later
on. Yeah, she does.
Which,
a really... And in such, like, an out-of-character moment, too.
Yeah.
Through that entire scene, I could only ever think of the image where it's, like, the guy in, like, black and white smoking cigarettes, like, I'm a film addict. I'm absolutely, like, addicted to the thing. Love that image. Anyways... Yeah, personally, I interpret the movie as the main character the young woman doesn't exist. It's kind of tough to tell if anything exists besides Jake, really, because when Jake wants something, it happens.
That's true.
So, but you could definitely even argue that Jake doesn't exist, which it's interesting. There's certainly, like I said, there's a million different ways to interpret this movie and what's happening at any given time.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also just Jake's incredible insecurity.
Yeah.
I guess the first example of this that you see is on the drive to his parents' house, where they turn on the radio. It is a song from the musical Oklahoma, and the heroine kind of nonchalantly is like, this is a strange song to be on the only radio station in Miles, don't you think? And he's like, how dare you? This is from Oklahoma, it's incredible. And she's like, I didn't know you were a fan of musicals. And he's like, no, I'm not a fan of musicals, although I've seen, and they list like 20 different ones of varying obscurity.
Yeah.
It's like, but Oklahoma is my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, I guess the one thing, or the evidence to say that Jake is real is probably that he's the character who stays consistent throughout.
Yeah.
He doesn't really change. He's always controlling and insecure.
It's scary.
Yes, often scary.
And again, the heroine during the sequence where she's like going down the stairs over and over is saying about how he needs her desperately for validation.
Yeah.
And why he seems to like break down, lose his temper, or sometimes both when she disagrees with him. So one way to read it would be that the heroine is almost his conscience calling him out in moments like when they park at the snow. And he's like, I just wanted to do something like, Baby It's Cold Outside. And she's like, oh, you mean the fucking rape song?
Yeah.
And he just, like, shrinks in his seat. I should say metaphorically shrinks because, like, in this movie, it wouldn't be out of the question.
Yeah.
The fuck. Oh, man, the ending is, like, the ending's very interesting. I feel like the ending of the movie is definitely the thing that is gonna make people go like, "What the what?"
Which part of the ending?
There's okay. The ending is so. I mean, you should probably say already that we've already spoiled a lot of it, but spoilers.
Yeah.
We haven't spoiled.
Put a spoiler warning like in the audio before we start talking about this or something in post.
I've assumed that all the movie talks have spoiler warnings already, so.
Because the ending is basically the janitor, like, is spying on Jake.
Oh, you're starting from there? Okay.
Well, the ending.
I would say the ending really starts from the ballet sequence, in my opinion.
Oh, that's not. Well, I mean, I guess I'm thinking more of the final, like, act almost.
I guess.
The high school sequence, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know. It's hard to even say this as like an act structure. I guess it's technically 3 acts.
4, I think.
4?
I would say 4. The first
you have to
act
drive
is very
there.
short.
Yeah, you have to drive there, the house, the drive back, and the
high school.
High school.
Yeah.
You know, let's just summarize the high school because that's the craziest fucking part.
Yeah. So basically, the janitor, or they get to the high school. Jake is like, I gotta find a place to throw out these milkshakes. And then he comes back to the car and they like get into an argument basically, but then the janitor is like spying on them, I guess. Yeah. And Jake gets really mad and goes to like confront him, and our main character is left in the car for like a long time seemingly.
Time is weird in this movie.
Weird,
so.
yes, but it seems like it's
long enough for her to get very cold.
A lot of time ends up moving through her.
Yes, and she eventually gets out and goes into the high school, where as she's entering, she sees just like a trash bin full of milkshakes, or milkshake cups, which is really interesting. And then
and the whole time in the car, she is kind of building up the courage to be like, okay, you know what? Fuck this guy. I hate this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm afraid of this guy.
That's been, I mean, throughout the whole movie, she's been like trying to find like a time to say, like, I'm thinking of ending it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then she walks and kind of vents to the janitor. And then as she goes off to find Jake, a weird dance sequence happens.
It's a reenactment of a sequence from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And you can see when the janitor was like cleaning schools, that's the play that they were putting on. They were putting on Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
And then after that happens, I watched this on Friday when it came out, so it's been a little bit.
So yeah, after that happens, like, the janitor goes back to his car, and then he sees the pig.
And he's
well, he gets naked, then he sees the pig.
Yeah. He gets naked during a goddamn emotional breakdown where he also may or may not be committing suicide via hypothermia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should talk about the themes of suicide in this movie, but later. No, because literally the first words in this movie are "I'm thinking of anything." I immediately went to suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually makes sense. Oh, ooh,
especially because
little double entendre.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
because in the heroine's dialogue throughout the film, she sometimes says that in reference to breaking up with this chode, and sometimes says that preceding like a really morbid thought.
Yeah. But I think we should revisit that later.
Yes. Okay. So the janitor gets naked. Then he sees an animated pig, who is bleeding.
Yes.
Oh no, the pig has maggots in its gut, my guy.
Oh, yeah, so yes, the pig is a reference to the farm earlier.
Yeah. And then he follows the pig, who talks to him in a very soothing voice, I must say.
Yeah.
As he walks through the school, and then at the very end there, he puts on a musical show for all of his.
That's also a song from Oklahoma, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. He first accepts his Nobel Prize for physics, says thank you to all the women in my life, and then sings a song from Oklahoma, and then the movie ends.
Yeah, and it's not old. It's not the janitor. It's Jake in old, like,
person makeup, and everyone has like
and
really,
everyone's in the weird makeup.
Fake looking old person makeup. It looks drawn on. It looks unsettling.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's definitely very purposeful. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So I think going back to this, I think the janitor dies in the car.
Oh
of
yeah.
Hypothermia. The whole bit with the pig, I don't think happens. I think when he is dying, he is reminded of death that he has seen sort of in his life, and he saw, the pigs with their rod maggots, and they were dying.
Because like while in the car, he has like a brief vision of him like going home,
Mm-hmm.
And then like the last image in the entire movie, the image that's that the credits are superimposed onto, is just that car come morning completely covered in snow.
Yeah. Oh, it's only like the car that's still there. The van or whatever is gone, right?
No, it's the truck. You don't see any of Jake's car, just the janitor's truck.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely would. Okay, I'm gonna go through like my entire interpretation of this movie, and I'm just gonna talk about Jake. So what you were saying before with the janitor reminiscing about this, what if he had asked this girl out, makes a lot of sense to me, because the way I had done it initially is, okay, so Jake is the janitor. There's a whole thing about time, but the later one is probably the real one, and he's thinking about a previous time in his life. I wasn't sure I didn't think the young woman was real. I thought he just created sort of the young woman as, you know, of course I was happy and I had a girlfriend at the time, to sort of make himself feel better, because he is obviously sort of old and alone now, and he's been lonely, and he's been
lonely his entire life, according to his mother.
We see him walking through the school and sort of looking at the high schoolers, which very creepy. But anyways, he's looking at the high schoolers and sort of a forlorn way. He watches a romance movie, and it's very obvious that he's hurting. And throughout his life, he sees that, he's reminiscing on the past, and he sees that nobody really wants him, and he has this nervous breakdown and decides to commit suicide in his van of hypothermia. And I think that is the real bit of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. There's, I guess, aspects of it that are, I feel like, one thing about the book that I didn't mention is that this is, in the book, I believe, this is something that he's done over and over again, like thinking of this like scenario.
Mm-hmm. Ergo all the fucking totally not Dairy Queen Blizzard cups.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That does make sense.
There's like, I guess there's still things about it that feel like off. Like, I guess because young Jake, or not the janitor, the normal Jake or whatever, he like notices that the janitor is like spying on them.
Yeah,
which seems interesting. And how like maybe it's like, I don't know, even his younger self doesn't like what he's become, I guess, if that makes sense.
See, I actually interpreted that a little differently, because for the entire movie, the heroine is saying, I have to get home, I have to get home, I have to get home, I got work in the morning, or I have an essay due in the morning, or something like that. And he is being purposefully obtuse the entire time, eventually, like, on the drive home, being like, whenever she says, please stop, we have to go, I need to go home, she's like, back to my farmhouse? No, dumb fuck, to the apartment. And then, finally, in the car, parked at the school, where his whole plan is basically, like, laid bare, Brendan, what is going on with your lights?
That's just what they do every, like, half an hour or something, they, like, reset.
That's nice. Anyway, where he just wanted to do a baby it's cold outside bit, and she's like, the fuck is wrong with you? No, take me home right now. And that's when he's like, hold on, I have to investigate the school. Like, he keeps delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. He doesn't want to let her go.
Because that makes sense, but like the way, I guess, in how it's done, because he seems, the way it comes off to me wasn't as much, it didn't seem like an excuse. It was like him getting really angry that the janitor was like spying on them or something.
I think it was both, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I definitely see that as being both.
Because he gets angry when he doesn't know how else to express himself.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting movie.
Yeah, what I find really fascinating, if you want to interpret the heroine as being real, then this is a depiction of a really horribly emotionally abusive relationship, and like while at his house, she sees, the entire life of like his parents before her eyes. Like, this is what my future is.
Yeah.
And because like she can't just say, I'm thinking of ending things. And eventually, again, when ranting to the janitor, she lays it all bare, the way she sees it, her whole relationship with this chode has been because she was completely unable to say no to anything, which is really, really interesting when you then say, okay, but she was all in the janitor's head, meaning the janitor sees himself as this predator and sees any woman who would ever like him as being a victim of circumstance who can't say no.
Exactly, and I think you definitely are able to see that in the ballet sequence. Because the janitor is framed as, Jake and the young women are, having a great time doing ballet and they're getting married. And the janitor comes in and snatches her away. Where he has his... He is a predator, like you said. And he can't... he could never be the Prince Charming that he sort of thinks that he is.
See, I think there are two ways to interpret the fucking ballet sequence. Also, whenever you say, I think there are two ways to interpret this ballet sequence, you're watching some art house bullshit. One would be, similar to how Brendan said, the dude is just some dude that the heroine would have had a future with that then the janitor robs from her. Or that the heroine becomes sort of comfortable enough in her relationship with Jake to keep going, and they get married, and then, basically, I kind of saw this as the young, handsome Jake being Jake when he is, awkward and funny and stable, and then Janitor Jake being just the worst of him. All of his despicable aspects, his rage, his predatory behavior, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I feel like we've been talking about this movie for a long time, and we're not getting much of anywhere just because of how dense it is and how non-linear it is. You have to talk about the end first to make sense of anything.
Yeah, definitely. There's some interest... The way it, messes with time is very interesting. I think there's also, within how it messes with time, I think you can also argue that the main character is real. Specifically when they stop at the Dairy Queen.
Yeah, and the girl's like, hey...
You can not go forward in time. Yeah. Which is really interesting, or...
Also, him being like, yeah, no, you have to order, they won't serve me here, is like, I thought you said you were a regular, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. It could also... Because there's, the two, popular girls, or seemingly in his mind popular girls, who, seemingly, make fun of him. And instead of it being just he can't order, it's he has some sort of anxiety about actually talking to them to order or something.
Yeah.
Or he's he views them as almost unapproachable and also mean because of that.
Yeah.
He definitely thinks that they're talking about him behind his back,
even if they're not.
Yeah.
I think you could also interpret when the girl says you can stay here, you don't have to go forward in time. You could also kind of interpret that as Jake's. You could also say that it's Jake basically thinking that, or think that everyone's against him essentially. No one wants him to have a relationship, if that makes sense.
Okay. I interpreted that differently, actually. Because I interpreted the way that Jake sees relationships, I would think, is that they start, there's a middle bit, and then there's an end, right? And when they're at the Tulsi town, they're right before the end, and he doesn't want it to actually progress to the end. So he wants it to stay in time right there before the end, while it's still in that middle bit.
That's interesting. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Definitely.
Who knows if that was the way it was intended, though.
I think this movie is purposely made so you can interpret it.
Yeah, and also they talk about that during the dinner when they talk about abstract art.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, you can interpret it any number of different ways. You interpret a landscape, it can make you feel something even if you don't see yourself in it. And I don't think any of us see ourselves in this movie like as Jake, because Jake's kind of an awful person.
I hope.
Yeah, but there's still meaning, and it can still make you feel something as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even know where we want to go from here. There's like tiny little details that we could discuss, but
yeah.
So instead, I think we should just go to, hey, when the fuck is this getting an anime adaptation, Netflix?
Yo, Netflix, please, anime adaptation, okay? Look,
dude.
What was it? The Death Note movie, that was, well received totally. So make more.
Don't forget their Full Metal Alchemist movie.
Is there a Full Metal Alchemist
that wasn't
movie?
terribly received.
It's worse than the Death Note one, dude.
Ooh.
Part of it is also it's astonishingly low budget. It compresses like 30 manga volumes into 90 minutes, and then has a climax from like volume 90 something for no reason. And the climax doesn't even belong to the main character; it belongs to Mustang.
Why did they do? Why? That seems like such a 90 minutes is such a short amount. You can make it longer. They know that, right?
But that costs money.
Also, just have less fucking chapters of the manga.
Yeah.
In that not. So anyway, Charlie Kaufman.
Charlie Kaufman. Yeah. Wow. Do we want to? I mean, there's more to discuss. I want to say the performances in this movie I think are really great.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the lead, Jessie Buckley's performance. I think she does a fantastic job with her material and kind of being this woman who's like trapped almost in the situation. She is basically trapped in the situation with someone who she really doesn't want to be with. Yeah.
And she's trying to convince herself that, like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, and definitely. I love both, what's his name? David Thewins? Is that his name? Let me look it up. I love Toni Collette and the Jake's dad.
Yes.
The guy who plays...
So good.
Yes, they're fantastic in the movie. Jake's dad is played by Ares from Wonder Woman.
Oh my god, that was Professor Lupin. Shit.
Yeah, it was Professor. He played Professor Lupin too. David Thewlis. Yeah. I think he does a really great job in the movie. The parents are fantastic.
Yes.
Especially like considering they had to like portray them at different stages in their life. So like when they're like really old and when they have like dementia, you can't remember stuff.
Although who played the mother?
Toni Collette.
Yeah, Toni Collette. To be fair, that is like her bread and butter character.
That is true. I'm really glad Toni Collette is getting a lot more roles.
Right?
Nowadays. She's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, she was great in Knives Out. Holy shit.
Yes, she's like. Honestly, if it was not for Chris Evans, she's like my favorite character in that movie. But,
I know. I think oh god, who played like the oldest daughter?
The oldest daughter?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
She's not Jane Lynch, but she looks almost like Jane Lynch if like you're drunk.
Let me quickly pull this up.
I mean, either way, she's I think
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is, I think, a standout performance in that as well.
Yes, definitely. But anyway, yeah, I think the janitor guy is also really good. He doesn't have any lines, I don't think.
He gets the point across, though.
Yeah.
No, he briefly speaks when he offers her slippers, I think.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. His lines are very...
He talks to the pig.
Does he talk to the pig?
He does talk to the pig.
Oh, okay. But I think just his performance, like, physically is really great. And how he, like... Or his just, like, emotional reaction, especially when he, like, sees the main character, like... Or seemingly see... It might be a hallucination. I don't know.
I was just shaking my, like, McDonald's cup with the ice in it, and the microphone picked up all of that.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, it's okay.
It wasn't that loud. But yeah. This is a very interesting movie. I guess I'll also say Jesse Plemons, who played Jake, is also really great.
I do want to say, though, interesting movie. It's also a hard movie to watch and a hard movie to recommend.
If you're not into... I guess I'd say watch it if you like David Lynch.
Or Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah, I'd say it's very art house, and it's definitely, if you're into movies, I'd recommend it highly. If you're a much more casual watcher of movies, I can definitely see this boring people. At least during the car rides, I can understand. That's like, I guess my one thing is I do think the car rides get a bit boring at points.
I think, if I had to criticize this movie, I'd say it's very indulgent.
Yes.
You could have made this movie shorter and gotten more or less the same point across.
Yeah.
Kaufman here really delights in just drawing the awkward moments the fuck out to make you as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And that also makes it, like, not only a hard movie to watch, but also a hard movie to rewatch, even though it's also worth a rewatch because it's so dense.
It feels like you need a rewatch to really... Again, like kind of like a David Lynch movie where it's like you need to rewatch it to, like, get more out of it.
I need to rewatch it, but first I need to build up the motivation to rewatch it.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the dialogue reminds me a lot of Richard Linklater dialogue on in the Before trilogy. With just kind of how it's like these long conversations about, you know, art or something, or I don't know, random stuff. Although I think in this movie it has a lot more plot-related meaning, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Before movies, the Before trilogy?
No. Oh, me? Yes. Absolutely not.
Okay, highly recommend. They're like, I've only seen the first two, but like they're like some of the best romance movies I've ever seen. They're really fantastic.
Hell yeah.
For me, I would also recommend watching this movie if you have somebody to talk about it with. I'm glad we could do this. Upon my initial watch, I was just like, well, I can just have this kicking around in my head, but what's the point? I'm not gonna get anywhere. I need to like talk it out with some people. Being
able to bounce it off other people has helped a lot. I've definitely come to a better understanding of the movie now.
Yeah. Also, this is not a movie to watch while you're tripping balls.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Public service announcement. If you are tripping balls, do not watch Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things. You know Sid Barrett from Pink Floyd? Yeah, that.
Oh no.
Yeah, no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I want to trip balls, but then watch something like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is like about tripping balls.
Again, that sounds like a bad trip.
Yeah, but it's like it would be so weird being like, whoa.
Meta, dude.
It's pretty meta.
You know what movie I would imagine would be fun on psychedelics?
Bill and Ted.
Okay, that. but also like The Night Is Short, Walk On Girl.
Oh yes, that would be very.
Because like that's another like out there movie, but in a more like upbeat madcap sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
do you want to conclude? I guess.
Yeah, let's conclude.
Let's go for it.
Let's end this train wreck.
Do you want me to start? I guess.
Yeah.
I really love this movie. It's kind of. It's very like it's very much like a mind fuck, I guess, in how it's just like, what the fuck.
And they don't even use no lube. Don't laugh at that. That wasn't funny. Don't encourage me.
I don't know why you said it in the first place.
Oh, I should also mention I really like the cinematography. I think it looks very nice.
Oh my god, we literally never mentioned that the entire movie is done in a 4:3 aspect ratio at a very low resolution.
Yes, it's 4:3. There's some very interesting, even like the car shots are like very interesting because sometimes there's one shot in particular during one of their drives where suddenly the camera is from like the very back window of the car and it starts moving away from it as you see our main character like look towards it, which just like stuck in my mind for some reason. I think it's very interestingly shot. Especially when they're not actually in the car. The car scenes are some of the more boring ones in terms of cinematography.
But I think they also have some of the most interesting, like, conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're also the most uncomfortable scenes. Hooray!
Yes, for sure. And I'd also... I think also there's, like, a lot of shots in the house that I love. Like, especially when there's the shot where they just arrived and you have the camera like looking down essentially from the window, which is really cool. And also,
and like she's just waving.
Yeah, she waving. Also, when our main character is just like walking downstairs over and over and over, and just has this, it's the same shot.
Oh yeah, and really the way they handle the audio fade, because I watched it with headphones on.
Yeah,
that was really fantastic. But yeah, I think this movie is very well shot. I love how just interesting this is. There's a ton you can dig into, and I bet, you know, years from now, people will have theories about this movie.
Yeah,
there'll be like a ton of different theories about it.
I think it's well shot. I think the micro editing is great. I think in terms of macro editing, like I said, it's overly indulgent. You could have cut at least 20 minutes off the film.
It definitely is overly indulgent, but I didn't mind that too much. I do think the car scenes get a bit boring, and I think that's where it could be cut down. I think that I guess it's definitely overindulgent, but I don't mind that it is because I think it's so interesting. It's Charlie Kaufman, so it's just very interesting subject matter.
It is Charlie Kaufman at his most art house. Holy shit!
Yes, and most inaccessible.
Yeah. Like, remember when we saw the trailer and we're like, man, this looks weird even for a Charlie Kaufman movie?
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's very weird.
This is peak Kaufman for better and for worse.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I love this movie. I think it's really interesting. This is like, it's super psychological, and that's my thing. I'd give this movie a 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the dissenting opinion as always. This is one of those movies where like, wow. On the one hand, most of this movie is just goddamn excellent. But it's also not a very watchable movie. Which can be a bit of a problem. And like, even for an art house movie, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna be a bit harsher. I'm gonna give this a 7.5, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
That's fair. For me personally, I actually I got bored sometimes while watching it. To be perfectly honest.
Same.
I definitely agree it's not very watchable. I enjoy thinking about the movie after the fact more than actually watching the movie.
Honestly, though, as an English major, yes.
No, definitely. And because of that, it makes it a little hard to like score, I guess. If I had just like watched the movie and not and never really thought about it again, it would probably be like a 6 out of 10 or something. But having this discussion, and being able to dive deeper into the film and explore it more with people is definitely it's really interesting, and also it makes you think a lot more about what you saw. So I'd say overall, I guess I'm at like an 8 out of 10 on the movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9. It did 7, 8, 9, man.
Ah, Joe, you're fucking dead.
Yeah, just like maybe the main character, but maybe not. But yeah,
so
he's a cannibal.
That's yeah.
Are you saying that the guy is a cannibal?
Yes. No.
Oh no.
Yeah, fine. We're moving on. That's
illegal.
Yeah.
Jesus
so.
Well, no, you can't eat people. That's fucked up, dude.
Okay. Next week.
Why would you do that?
So that's the end of our.
Why not just eat soy people?
That's been the podcast for this week's podcast. Next week, the movie for next week is Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes. And the album is Led Zeppelin 4. Oh, do you want to talk about Lawrence?
Well, I was just gonna say, I will say, I'm not going to rewatch Lawrence of Arabia. I watched it like in August, like mid-August or something.
Coward.
It's like 3.5 plus hours long.
It's so long.
It's very long.
And you're very much a fucking coward.
That's fair, but also I'm fine with not rewatching it. It's I'm very excited to see. I know Jason's going to be on, so it'll be exciting to see what he thinks of it, considering how
he's never seen it.
He constantly talks about how good Lawrence of Arabia is, and then hasn't seen it.
He's constantly heard great things about the movie, hasn't seen it.
He's just like, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So he decides to indulge us in his 3.5 hour long plus movie, and we would get to see his first reaction.
Yeah.
So basically, like, when someone's having a conversation about something that, like, you feel like you should know about, but you don't, so you're just kind of, like, nodding along. Except, like, way too enthusiastically.
Yes, except, like, he brings it up.
Bro!
It's not like someone mentions Lawrence of Arabia and he's like, this is an amazing movie. He's just like, yo, Lawrence of Arabia is really good.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh, really? Can you tell me why? No.
It looks good.
It is a really good movie. But, what is it? And then Brendan said we're going to be reviewing Zeppelin 4. Wow, believe it or not, it's their 4th album.
That's crazy.
Bet you didn't realize that.
What album would win in a fight? Zeppelin 4 or Run the Jewels 4?
Run the Jewels 4. Run the Jewels 4 is, it gets pretty intense.
It's even got the fists on the cover. What does Led Zeppelin 4 have? A painting?
What did like the fists mean? That's so hard to like switch between. How do they do it?
I don't know.
Because like
I didn't know.
Oh, you've seen that GIF where they're like,
yeah.
Oh fuck, it is hard to do that.
Okay,
practice.
Moving on.
Anyway, yeah, that's it for our podcast this week. Tune in next week to hear our thoughts on those things. And we'll see you then. Maybe, I don't know. Probably.
I won't.